I accidentally sneezed on a $50 million masterpiece, and it was instantly covered in spit. I instinctively pulled out my handkerchief to wipe it off, but the moment I finished, I nearly passed out. A massive blue stain had appeared on the painting. That's when I realized the pen in my pocket had been leaking it. I was completely stunned. Even if I showed myself, I could never afford it. I quickly locked the gallery doors and carefully took the painting off the wall, planning to dab in my sleeve and clean it again. But with just a bit too much force, I ripped the canvas away out of the frame, and before I could stop myself, I even stepped on it a few times. Now I was completely screwed. With no other choice, I covered it with a white cloth and disguised it as a table, then quietly slipped out of the gallery. I snuck into a storage room and found a bucket of pink thinner. I soaked a rag with it and started wiping. To my surprise, the blue stain actually disappeared. I couldn't help but think I was a genius, but the moment I turned around, the painting started bubbling. I nearly lost my soul again. I tried to stop the paint from dissolving, but once it melted, it peeled off instantly. My desperate attempt to fix it turned that elegant lady into a helpless masterpiece. At this point, I had no choice but to bring it back. To avoid being caught, I blocked the door with a flower pot. But the next second, David, one of the staff, walked in from the side and immediately noticed the painting was gone. He stared at me in disbelief and demanded answers. I struggled to find the words and nervously held up the empty frame. Oh, Jesus, oh God, oh, Jesus, God, oh. Mary, Mother, Jesus, Nasha. And David was in charge of the unveiling. In that moment, he completely broke out, but he still refused to accept it and insisted on seeing the painting. With everyone waiting for the big reveal, we had no choice but to put it back. That night was sleepless for David. He dragged me to a bar to drink it away, hoping alcohol would erase everything. And sure enough, we ended up singing our hearts out. 但是下楼黑口风。But later that night, reality hit me, and I couldn't fall asleep. Then I learned from David's son. He had a poster of the painting, and suddenly I had an idea. After preparing laxatives and iron hairdryer and eggs, I snuck back into the gallery. First, I faked an emergency to distract the guard, then poured an entire bottle of laxatives into his drink. That dosage could take down the cow. Then I mixed up all the restaurant teas. Sure enough, the guard started feeling it. While he left his post, I slipped inside and began the switch. By the time I finished everything, the guard was still desperately searching for the right key. The next day, the unveiling had begun. Media and elites filled the gallery, all waiting to witness the masterpiece. Welcome.